Good morning and welcome back to Impact after a Canada Day long weekend. A lot of everything. There was some sun, there was some rain, there was a bit of hail south of town, and a lot of festivities as Canada celebrated their 151st birthday, or we celebrated. I only remember that because I'm 100 years younger than Canada. So. My guest this morning, Jason Beck from Waypoints, and we've got Jen Kennett from, I'm going to see if I get this right now, the United Way of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo?
United Way, Fort McMurray, and Wood Buffalo.
Okay, yeah. Hey, congrats on the name change.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know that it's sort of a national movement to encompass the actual region that you serve. So
absolutely.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And you guys are here today, you are with your work hats on, but you guys are both involved in a huge volunteer effort to put on the second annual Fort McMurray Food Festival.
Absolutely.
So obviously, last year was year one. Jason, tell me about year one, because I think I missed it. So tell me what was it?
It felt like we blinked and we almost missed it too. Really, it went so fast. But last year was a 5-day, 5-event festival, and it was actually it birthed out of the idea. Krista Balsam and Clarence Buchanan wanted to bring back the taste of Fort McMurray, and so in conversations about that, they thought, wouldn't it be cool for us to do a larger food festival, make it over several days, involving more events and that type of thing, and highlighting the restaurant and bar club community that we have here, and tourism, of course. And so then they decided they would like to do it for a charity as well. So kind of a win-win-win situation. And so that's when they approached us at Waypoints to ask us if we would be that charity and help provide the logistical support behind it. And that's what we did. And so, yeah, it was a massive success last year.
So 5 events, 3 days.
Right. So
tell me, when you say massive success, is there any way for you to quantify that for me, either in terms of money raised and or participants?
Both, actually. Money raised, it was an inaugural year. And of course, inaugural years are always difficult because you don't know. You're best guessing everything at this point. And so we were very fortunate to end up, at one point I wasn't sure we were going to make $5 because of course it's a weather dependent event as well, right? So it's a lot of risk. It's kind of scary. I don't sleep generally in July anymore. But we ended up raising $38,000 for Waypoints, which was massive. And then just the amount of people that came out, the restaurants that were a part of it, with the pub crawl, a lot of people got to go and see places that they don't normally check out. And a lot of people didn't even know Formosa maybe was at the airport, because if they haven't flown out, they might not have seen it. So an opportunity for them to see different restaurants, get a taste of what they have. And also the big one for me last year was the patio party at Heritage Shipyard. And how that was a win-win and a win was that basically the win for tourism, the entertainment industry in the community, the businesses, the restaurants, us as an organization, but also for Heritage Shipyard. Because a lot of people had never gone in there and seen it. And what an amazing venue that was for the patio party. Yeah. And I just remember at one point standing back going, wow, am I in Fort McMurray? This feels like I'm in Granville Island in Vancouver. Like, it just had such a very cool vibe to it. So we're really excited to have that back again this year as well.
So the Fort McMurray Food Festival is July the 25th to the 29th, a bit longer.
Yep. Now it's a 5-day event. This is why I was tripping up earlier. 5-day, 7-event
wow, that's a lot.
Festival. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you've brought on the United Way to participate. Tell us about what you're doing, Jen.
Yeah. So, last year it was fully in support of Waypoints, which is amazing. And this year we came on to have one day that supports the United Way, and, the rest to support this agency that we love in this community. So for us, for United Way, we added on the Food Truck Festival. So
tell me what that is.
All right. So it is on July 25th. So it's what kicks off the whole event, or the whole 5 days of events. And it starts at 11 a.m. and we're actually shutting down Franklin Avenue in probably an area that you're quite familiar with, where Interplay used to take place.
Really?
Right out front. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right out front of the RMWB. So we're shutting it down, and we're going to have live music, and we're going to have beer gardens starting around 4 p.m. The rest of the day is kid-friendly. So we're going to have some activities for children, and then food trucks. So I think we have 7 on tap right now.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about this event, too, is partnering with Urban Market, which is already an existing event that's taking place. So basically, Urban Market will still be there as it normally is. And then on Franklin will be all the food trucks as well.
Yeah.
completely free event, family free.
This will be the first time Franklin's closed since the last time Interplay was on Franklin.
I think so. Yeah.
2010. I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
Might have
Yep.
been the last time. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping all the theater people are watching and see how it goes, so that we can maybe think about bringing back a theater festival on the street.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I like that idea.
Absolutely. Add it to the food fest.
So the food trucks, are they local or do they come from other places as well?
We're about 50-50. We are having a few people come up from out of town, mostly some sweets and treats kind of trucks.
Yeah.
Except in the last month, we've seen quite a few food trucks join Fort McMurray. So we're reaching out to see if maybe we can add a couple more to the day.
Sure.
Just because they just seem to be picking up popularity and people are opening them up. So hopefully we might get a couple more and maybe a little bit more local.
Yeah. Two dumb questions. One, how do you make money for the United Way? And then the second question would be, if you're having a beer garden later in the day, is there some sort of entertainment that is going to be there for the beer garden?
Right. So to make money for the United Way, all the sales from the food truck, those are for purchase. So you purchase your food, and they are, all the vendors are giving a portion of their sales back to the United Way. So there is a buy-in, and then they're giving back a portion of their sales.
Marvelous.
As well as, I think, the beer garden is in support of us as well.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. Yeah. And as for entertainment, yes, we do have a lot of live local entertainment as well as. Am I allowed to say?
I don't know if we can announce yet who the.
Yeah. No, I won't. Okay, we'll leave that just in case. We do
You
have.
can announce Kiss coming back later.
Right?
Right.
But we do have a headliner coming from out of town.
That's awesome. Well, it's
Yeah.
exciting. And I know I must have seen a poster somewhere because some events, Jason, are free.
Yes.
Others are ticketed.
Yes.
And so tell us about the balance of the events that with proceeds going to Waypoints.
Sure. So, of course, on Wednesdays, the food truck, as we mentioned, that is free. On Thursday is a pub crawl. It's called the Best, I can never get this right, Best Pub Club, Best Pub Food Club. Yeah, there we go. I always trip over that one. And so it's 2 buses that go to 7 different locations where everyone will get an Appy type sampler and a free drink as part of their ticket price. Last year we had 5 places. This year we have 7, so we're increasing that as well, which is pretty exciting. So it's a great evening just to come out, enjoy, get to know different types of restaurants. We'll be starting at Earl's, ending at Prime Test Kitchen, which is one of the newer restaurants open in town. And so we're really excited. Live entertainment at each one of the stops as well, which that's new this year. The last year we didn't have that, but this year we made that a requirement of anybody wanting to be involved, that they had to provide live entertainment. So that's pretty exciting as well. So then on Friday is the patio party, as mentioned before.
At
so
the
that
shipyard
is
again.
At the shipyard,
Okay.
yep. And that one it's a low price. It's a $35 ticket, and of course then you can buy food, which is being provided by Chez Max. So it's a Jamaican theme for the whole thing. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And then Saturday during the day is Taste of Fort McMurray. And one of the feedback we got last year that the ticket price was a little bit high, so we've dropped it down this year to adults $45, youth and children $15. So that really lowers that price significantly. So we're hoping that'll be and there'll be live entertainment, lots of activities for kids that day for them to come out, and then on Saturday night.
Sorry, I'm gonna.
Yep.
Where's Taste of Fort McMurray?
Oh, sorry, in Heritage Village.
At Heritage Village.
At Heritage Village.
Okay, marvelous. Okay.
Yeah, the Heritage Society has been a great support for us, and this is, like I said, it's a win-win because they get exposure and business as well from us doing these events there, and they've been so great. And then on Saturday night, I don't know if you remember the event that used to be called Hopscotch.
No. I skipped that decade.
So this is similar to it, but it's basically it's a concert that'll be taking place, a country concert with the headliner Dan Davidson, as well as the Chantal Davidson Band. I get mixed up in each night of which the acts are, but anyway, they're all on our website as well, so you want to check that out. That's going to be pretty exciting. Again, it's a $35 admission fee, and then of course you can purchase food and beverages there as well. And then at the end on Sunday, another new event. Anzac Grocery wanted to do an event out in Anzac, so now we actually become regional in our food festival a little bit. So they're doing a beach day where you can go out and just by donation get some food. There'll be live entertainment as well. The Bridge 91.1 is there and supporting this event, so we're really excited about that and glad to have them on board. So yeah, it's going to be a
That's a lot going on.
Pretty hefty weekend.
We're talking Food Festival coming up the 25th to the 29th of July here in Fort McMurray and in Anzac. And we're going to come back with more of Impact right after this. Welcome back to Impact. My guests this morning are Jen Kennett and Jason Beck, two longtime friends of ours, and Jen with the United Way and Jason with what's it called again? Waypoints. Now, before I know you skipped one thing, but I wanted to ask because I'm so fascinated by the shipyard. What's your favorite part of the shipyard, Jason?
Oh, I'd have to say the train. Because I grew up in Newfoundland and we always had trains, but then the trains got taken away back in the 80s, I believe it was, late 80s maybe, and it was something I always missed. And so being back in Alberta, even being able to see trains again, but also just seeing those, historically they mean a lot to me, so I absolutely love it. Yeah.
Jen, what's your favorite?
I have to agree, but I just love how the pier goes along the river there.
That's beautiful.
I think that one of the big feedbacks that we got last year was just people did not realize it existed, and they suddenly were marking it for parties and weddings and grads and pictures and stuff. You could just see the wheels turning.
Well, when Chris and I went there to do a site visit to see if this could be potentially where we would host the patio party, I walked in and I just went, yes! Yes! Immediately I'm like, this is, because the canopy, I mean, it just, I mean, if you go on to our Facebook page, of the Food Festival Facebook page, you'd see the pictures from last year, and they were just absolutely, it was just a gorgeous night. It was exceptional.
When Heather and I were in Thailand, we took a train from Bangkok to Kanchanaburi. It was almost identical to that train.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Like the same era and everything, from the 1940s, from World War II.
Neat.
Wow.
And it's still operating today.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it feels like Cambodia when I go to the shipyard.
Nice.
Now, Jason, we have to circle back. You missed a barbecue. Tell us about that.
I did. A free barbecue at that. How could I miss a free barbecue? Of course, YMM Magazine and Fort McMurray Tourism partner together every year to do the Food and Entertainment Guide. And so the ATCO barbecue on Friday from 12 to 2, I believe. 12 to 2 will be happening, and it's completely free. There'll be great food there that's being provided by our sponsor, ATCO, and they'll be giving out the entertainment for releasing it that day as well. So they'll kind of give everybody a chance to see what's available for them this summer here in Fort McMurray.
So what's fundamentally different about the Fort McMurray Food Festival is how it's being run. I say that because, in our community, we've had festivals from Interplay to Blueberry Festival, usually run by a specific nonprofit. Mm-hmm. But this is a volunteer-driven event. And maybe, Jason, you could start by describing how many were involved last year and then compare that to what you've seen this year.
Night and day comparison, to be honest with you. So last year, and partly too because it was a last minute decision to do this, and it came together pretty quick. I think we started really ramping up in April for this event that took place in July. So there was probably about a dozen, 15 at most, core people who were working on this and made it happen. And it was remarkable what we made happen in that short period of time. It literally was. The force was with us, that's for sure. And then this year, of course, having that much more time, knowing ahead of the game, we have about 50 or 50 plus people who their name are on the big part of the committee because they're all contributing something, and probably about 30 to 35 people who are full on in doing a lot of the groundwork, doing a lot of the planning, a lot of the back end stuff. Just absolutely massive. And just to give you an idea as well, our in-kind contribution from a variety of our sponsors that you can see on our website is sitting in dollar value at this point at about $200,000.
Wow.
Like, that's how much has been contributed towards this event. And realistically, it gives you the scale of what it takes to put on an event like this. So let alone what we're actually paying for. In addition to that is another about $200,000 at this point. It's probably going to go up even more as we go. But at this point, it sits at $200,000. That's an amazing contribution that we're so grateful for.
So Jason, you've run events for Waypoints, where you're the producer. And Jen, you've been involved in events, I know, in the past. But so my question would be, what is the biggest challenge of doing an event this way, volunteer driven, as compared to owned and by a singular organization? What's the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge, of course, is when you're relying on volunteers, you're relying on the free time that they're able to give, and that sometimes changes. And so that's kind of been the biggest challenge. Now, the advantage, though, is that we do have our own staff support. For example, I have 2 of my staff on team that they pick up wherever there's need to pick up. So they're there to fill in the gaps. And there are gaps, obviously, as you go along. And so they kind of provide the logistical support, the background support, all that kind of stuff. Same thing with United Way. I mean, their team over there do provide that background support. The advantages, though, is the skill sets that you do gain from a lot of people, especially when it comes to things like marketing and design and that type of thing. You get all these things that, maybe our teams are not really that great at, but we have professionals in our community who give up their time to do stuff like that. Yeah. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely mirror what you say. I think the hardest part is, like, last year, with it being a new event, was getting volunteers. And so I was volunteer manager last year, and then this year I continue that with 2 other people. So that's how much we've grown, right? So I think I want to say that including our committee, we had less than 100 volunteers last year. And, when you're talking 5 events in 3 days, we were exhausted. Like, you reach Saturday and you can't even stand up anymore. And this year we have 250, I think, volunteer spots plus our committee. So over 300 volunteers we're looking at, and lots of uptake already. And we need a few more, of course, but
you've both hit on something that is important for the listener to understand, I think. A listener perhaps has never been involved on the back end of a major event, is that when you agree to do it, there's a super amount of responsibility and weight on the one hand, and it's a tremendous effort. But I know that there is a great payoff. There's great joy. So for both of you, the question would be, what is your greatest joy in being involved in this event? Jen?
So for me, I've said this a lot. I love this community, and it's really important for me to give back to it. I'm a lifelong resident. I'm very, very connected to it. But it's also a really cool way to experience an event. I attended the patio party. I couldn't partake in lots of the shenanigans that were going on, but I had a great time, and it's a really good opportunity to get out there and connect with people, and chatting with everybody as they're coming in. And I love that opportunity to be a part of something, and then you just have that really great feeling that you helped such a great cause. And I think that's the payoff.
Jason?
I think for me, it's kind of this whole thing of when you put your heart and soul and body, every aching muscle in your body into something. And I had a moment last year where at the patio party, actually, like, as I was coming towards sunset time, and I'm standing kind of on the edge, kind of overlooking the whole area, and I just see everybody having an amazing time. And I mean, that day, it downpoured that day when we were setting up, and it was like just, there was a wedding that day there, so we had to work around that. Like, there was a lot of challenges to get us to that point that night. But when you sit back and you go, look at this, isn't this the coolest thing? And you hear the feedback from people saying, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this in Fort McMurray before. This is so cool. And you get that feedback and that energy, and you feel the energy of the room. The muscles, you don't even notice them anymore. They're gone. It's just amazing.
We're talking Fort McMurray Food Festival coming up July 25th to the 29th. Jason Beck is here from Waypoints and Jen Kennett from the United Way. We're going to come back with more of Impact. It is a team effort of United Way, Fuse Social, Shaw TV, Fort McMurray, YMM Magazine, and our friends here at 91.1 The Bridge. Welcome back to Impact with Jason Beck and Jen Kennett this morning, talking about the Fort McMurray Food Festival. It has grown dramatically, I think that's fair to say, in just a short time. Last year, let's see if I get it right, 3 days, 5 events. This year, 5 days, 7 events. It's really incredible, but I think one of the most beautiful things is the number of volunteers that are behind the effort. So thank you to all of them, of course. And I think it's important because we got a lot of information out. Maybe let's, Jen, do a quick elevator pitch of the United Way event that kicks everything off.
Okay. All right. So kick off July 25th with a food trust. Let's try this again. Food truck festival to support United Way. So all-day event from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Family friendly. You purchase your food from the food food trucks in conjunction with the urban market, beer garden starting at 4 p.m.
And Franklin Avenue between
Avenue.
Hardin and Main is being shut.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
I honestly never thought I'd see that again. That's
It was
great.
wonderful. We definitely cheered when that approval came through.
Okay, so that's the 25th. What day of the week is that to help?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday. So
Yeah.
Wednesday, the
July
food
25th.
food truck festival. Awesome. Jason, take it from there.
Oh, Lord. Thursday night pub crawl. Great night, fun night. Couple of buses. Actually, there's a rock bus and a country bus, so depending on where you fall.
Is there a jazz bus?
If you bring
Maybe
your
next
jazz
year.
music with you, play it on the bus, sure, why not? And so it's a great night. And then, of course, Friday is the patio party. Saturday is Taste of Fort McMurray. Saturday night is Boots and Brews. And then Sunday is the beach party in Anzac. So, yeah. And the barbecue again. Geez. On Friday afternoon, 12 to 2. And that's at the Oil Sands Discovery Center.
You've
as well.
mentioned that all this stuff is on the website, but what is the website?
Fort McMurray Food Festival.ca.
Fort McMurray Food Fest. Fort McMurray spelled out.
Yep.
Fort McMurray Food Festival.ca.
You got it.
So I know this is you're scaling up a little bit this year. So the question for both of you would be: what does success look like at the end of the day when you're really exhausted on Sunday and you look back? What does success look like for you, Jen?
I think similar to earlier that everybody's had a great time, that the events are well attended, the community is out there and got to see some new areas they've never seen before, like the Heritage Village or the Shipyard, supporting some local businesses, as well as some wonderful donations to two, I think, really great social profits in our community.
That's a good vision, Jason.
Yeah, similar. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about really highlighting the best our community has to offer. And in times, especially post-wildfire, have opportunity to come together with one another and to meet and to experience things with new people maybe you've never met before. That's always exciting as well, especially when you're in close proximity, like a bus, at a pub crawl. You get to know people on a whole different level at that point, which is kind of nice. And it's great as well for, of course, both of our organizations. I mean, we both do amazing work in the city. Of course, we get supported by the United Way as well. So we're only too happy to be partnering with them for this as well. So they get, the entertainment out there. Of course, we have a lot of artists. Both we do have some coming in from outside, but we have local artists as well that are taking part, and some of them are taking part in multiple events. So it's a great revenue generator and a promotion thing for them as well. And also, like I said, our bar and restaurant industry getting involved. We have at this point confirmed, I think, we're close at 20 vendors for Taste of Fort McMurray at this point, which is actually slightly around the same as what we ended up with at the last one. So we're expecting even more to come in. And of course, if you're listening, you want to be a part of it, FortMcMurrayFoodFestival.ca. And the website actually has all the information for ticket buying, for volunteering, for vendors. If whoever you are, go to that website. It will direct you in the way. So yeah, and of course, then providing great volunteer opportunities for people to get involved and to do something meaningful and have a great time doing it at the same time. It's a win-win.
It sounds awesome. It's the Fort McMurray Food Festival, July 25th to the 29th. Jen, Kennett, and Jason Beck, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
And most importantly, thank you for the personal efforts that you both have made in making this happen, because it does not happen lightly. It's a lot of effort goes into it. So good on you.
Thank you.
Once again, Fort McMurray Food Festival, July 25th to the 29th, FortMcMurrayFoodFestival.ca. Did I remember that?
You got it.
FortMcMurrayFoodFestival.ca to get all the details. And you've been listening to Impact. It is a team effort of United Way, Fuse Social, Shaw TV, Fort McMurray, YMM Magazine, and all our friends right here, including Steph at the board at 91.1 The Bridge.